Hey there, crypto fans, and welcome to Altcoin Radar. Today, guys, you're going to hear me nerd out and hear some of the main reasons as to why I'm so darn bullish on Polkadot. And, as always, guys, keep in mind that the information that you hear in this video is based purely on my own opinion. So before we get started, guys, let me just tell you real quick that you're not really going to see anything on my screen at all throughout this video other than the background of this beautiful Polkadot website. Now, I'm literally just going to be talking about Polkadot since it's one of my all-time favorite projects, so think of this as more of like a podcast on YouTube rather than a video. So with that said, you guys, what is Polkadot exactly, and what makes Polkadot so darn exciting? Well, I'm going to present to you guys a super easy to digest answer to those questions, and hopefully by the time you're done listening to this, you'll be well up to speed and we'll be able to see exactly why I'm so darn bullish on this project. So, however, full transparency though, guys, I was fortunate enough to have participated in one of the private sale rounds, but I promise you that this has in no way influenced whatsoever any of my reasonings as to why I'm so incredibly bullish on this project. You see, guys, Polkadot is a growing blockchain platform with aims, ambitions, and capabilities. And, sure, there's plenty of big words thrown around when describing what Polkadot can do and whatnot, but I'm just going to drill down the essentials, and that's kind of it. I mean, you're going to hear me talk about some pretty technical stuff here a little bit, but not too much. So anyway, guys, at its core, and in simple terms, Polkadot is pretty much a highly scalable and fully interoperable blockchain protocol upon which, the next generation of the web is being built. And now what's funny is when I say this exact sentence to my significant other, she just shrugs her shoulders and pretty much says, whatever that means. But, so if you're a bit lost by the word interoperable like she was, then don't worry, guys. We're going to unpack that concept along with several others. And by starting off with an explanation of Polkadot's most important concept, which would be ushering in the decentralized web era. So, on to the core part of the video, guys. What is Polkadot? Well, blockchain platforms like Ethereum can do many, many different things. They can run decentralized financial applications, blockchain games such as Zedrun, and they can host unique digital collectibles called NFTs as well. And in addition, blockchains also help organizations do even cooler things like efficiently track supply chains, issue assets, and enable fast and inexpensive cross-border transactions on the enterprise side of things as well. However, guys, despite these awesome applications, blockchains are pretty much hampered by a pretty major roadblock, which is the simple fact that they don't play nicely with other blockchains, which means they can't interoperate. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why should that matter? And the main reason why it matters is simply because when platforms aren't interoperable, the networks have a tendency to grow into monopolistic proportions. Just look at companies such as Google, Facebook, and Amazon as good examples of this. This is exactly why Polkadot's core mission is to create and connect a new web of decentralized blockchains, or a vision of tomorrow's internet that they call Web 3.0. And in this new version of the web, trust is pretty implicit on the network, meaning individuals have more power than corporations and governments, which is awesome. And people own their data too, which is something that's, been a long time coming in all honesty. And, if everything I just explained to you sounds extraordinarily ambitious to you guys, then, don't worry, because it definitely is. However, the project couldn't be in, more capable hands. You see, guys, Dr. Gavin Wood, which is, the dude who is pretty much co-responsible for creating the Ethereum blockchain, he's also the main guy behind Polkadot. So, suffice to say, not only does Dr. Wood know what he's doing, but he's also brought along an entire constellation of brilliant scientists from Parity Technologies and the Web3 Foundation as well. And with all that said, you guys, this brings us to our first main talking point, which is that interoperability enables the Web 3.0. You see, blockchains such as Ethereum, Neo, Tezos, and, Cardano, they all possess unique features such as smart contract capabilities and functions. But as a developer or user, you're bound to each individual ecosystem, meaning you can't build across blockchains or seamlessly swap digital assets between them, which is kind of a bummer, right? Well, to help you understand why this is a problem, Think about the internet. I mean, today's web uses a standard TCP/IP protocols to link and route all devices and information passing through the internet. And to put it another way, the TCP/IP protocol enables the countless devices connecting to the internet to speak with one another in a common language. And in simple terms, though, Ethereum speaks to Ethereum, Cardano speaks to Cardano, but there is no translator between them. However, this isn't a problem now that we've got Polkadot. You see, Polkadot addresses the problem of all of these blockchains operating in silos by acting as an interoperability standard between them. In a way, it's just like the TCP/IP protocol adopted for the internet, except it enforces decentralization as a rule. And this brings me to my next talking point, which is the fact that parachains are the new blockchain. Now, if you're confused by what I just said, in a nutshell, Polkadot bridges different blockchains along with giving developers the tools to build new ones too, to create a decentralized web of blockchains. Now, if you're a visual learner, just think of tons of tiny polka dots on a page. The Polkadot platform pretty much links all of these dots together, giving them a common ground on which they can all cooperate and work together. So you see, guys, every time a blockchain is created on or around the Polkadot standard, it becomes a parachain. In addition, the Polkadot blockchain itself is built using Substrate, which is basically just a tool set for building blockchains and digital assets. Now, when Substrate-built parachains run on Polkadot, they all hold all of the advantages of the Polkadot network, such as advanced consensus and high throughput scalability, too. Now, think of it this way, guys. Building a standalone blockchain network from scratch is probably pretty tough considering it takes a ton of skills and resources. Not to mention you'll fall into a whole silo category Polkadot is making obsolete. So, by using Substrate to build a Polkadot connected parachain, you get simple tools out of the box, helping you go from a no-coiner to blockchain-based real quick. Now, I got a super quick question for you guys. How quickly do you guys think developers can launch custom blockchains using Substrate? Well, you probably thought of an answer that was longer than 1 day, but the real answer is that it only takes about 15 minutes to launch a custom blockchain using Substrate. So guys, in the time that it takes, to whip up a couple of eggs for breakfast or something, you can also launch a Polkadot parachain. And the reasons intentionally easy is simply because it has a lower barrier to entry for as many participants as possible. However, guys, what's more interesting though is Polkadot itself is totally agnostic to the consensus mechanisms of connected parachains. So, I'm sorry if you didn't understand what I just said, but the simpler translation would be, private. How can I say this? Private enterprise blockchains, public blockchains or public chains like Ethereum, proof of work networks like Bitcoin. They're all compatible with Polkadot. So, here's why I think Polkadot is so exciting. To understand all the hype behind Polkadot, you really got to step away from all the token price jargon and look at the actual reasons as to why so many other projects are building on and adopting the Polkadot standard. Why would a new existing blockchain project want to link up to Polkadot, especially when there are so many other blockchain platforms out there? Well, the main reason is simply because Polkadot has its own consensus algorithm where incoming blockchains can simply port in and that's all. What this does is it's taking advantage of what's called pooled security. And pooled security takes the work of creating a secure blockchain off the shoulders of parachains and instead places it on the Polkadot relay chain. Now, since parachains benefit from the Polkadot relay chain's pooled security and shared scalability, they can instead focus on what really matters, which is their own specialization. And because independent blockchains are forced to be profitable to survive, they're forced to build generally rather than specifically. You see, guys, Polkadot lets blockchains communicate with each other and swap smart contract data securely and privately, too. And connecting to the Polkadot relay chain enables blockchains to send transactions between one another seamlessly, thus providing true interoperability between networks pretty much. Now, for developers, this is especially great since it allows them to build applications using smart contracts and features from different parachains. Like for DeFi applications, the era of full cross-chain swaps is finally upon us. Now, this brings me to my next talking point, which is the fact that Polkadot makes true DeFi possible. You see, guys, decentralized finance, it's emerged as blockchain, as blockchain's killer application, but there are a few problems with DeFi today. I mean, the first problem is that it's not very decentralized, and the second problem is the fact that scaling is a significant pain in the butt. Now, Ethereum does host the majority of DeFi applications we see today. However, it still relies on proof-of-work consensus, which creates expensive bottlenecks every time DeFi applications like Uniswap ramp up the transaction volume. And while network congestion isn't necessarily an indicator of centralization in and of itself, the centralization of resources required to operate large-scale POW mining operations is. So, in other words, a small number of mining pools control most of the Ethereum network hash rate. In contrast, though, Polkadot's proof of authority's governance model and low barrier to staking encourage widespread community governance. This quality, paired with Polkadot's heterogeneous sharding capabilities, means that DeFi projects can create novel asset formulations using the protocol. For example, guys, let's see here. A DeFi project can easily bridge to Bitcoin, then create an array of BTC-backed or wrapped assets on Polkadot. And such arrangements aren't mere figments of the imagination. You see, Polkadot DeFi is already here, but we'll talk more about that later because now I want to get into some of Polkadot's key features. So with Polkadot, you guys, you don't have to make one or the other choices. It's not a matter of Polkadot or Ethereum. Remember, the key in all of this is interoperability and connecting the dots. So Polkadot isn't meant to kill blockchains, guys. Instead, it's here to breathe life into them by benefiting all users rather than silo-like individual networks. So with that said, the core features powering Polkadot are A, countless chains linked by one mesh or the Polkadot relay chain, B, transactions processed in parallel, which equals unlimited scaling capacity, C, blockchain upgrades are accomplished without forking, and D, blockchain bridges enable open collaboration between developers. And then we've got E, community governments and network control using the DOT token. And then F, we've got pooled security, which means blockchains are stronger together. So next, guys, I'm going to talk about the DOT token itself, which is Polkadot's digital asset that ties the project together. So, Polkadot's DOT token is the network's native digital asset for governance, staking, and bonding. And since this is a deep dive video, I'll go through each one of these concepts individually so you can get a good grasp of what I'm talking about here. So, the first concept we're talking about here is bonding. Now, bonding is a fairly new concept because if you want to be a reductionist about it, you could say bonding is just like ICO crowdfunding on Ethereum, but just because you could say that doesn't mean you'd be correct. In fact, bonding is quite different from the ICO crowdfunding model. The ICO model merely trades one token for another. Now, if you wanted to participate in an ICO, all you do is send a ETH or USDT or some other token to the contract, and you'll receive another token in return. Now, problematically, this doesn't encourage value to stay on the network, nor does it encourage value to the network's native token either. But why not, might you ask? Well, the simple reason is because the main incentive in traditional ICOs is to dump the crowdfunded tokens into something more stable, like a stablecoin, for example. You see, countless projects have sworn to hodl their ETH after raising ICO funds in 2017, only to sell them off as the market cascaded, back in 2018. You see, Polkadot avoids this scenario with the bonding mechanism. In the Polkadot realm, ICOs are called IPOs, short for initial parachain offering. And to join Polkadot as a parachain, new projects need to raise an amount of DOT from the community. The raised DOT is the bonded or locked to the network for a predetermined amount of time, and the longer in duration the parachain slot is, the more DOT must be bonded. So, at the end of the parachain slot duration, the bonded DOT is released back to their owners, whereupon the said parachain can either apply for another slot or withdraw from the network. So as you can see, The bonding mechanism requires DOT to be locked rather than sold, thus adding value to the network and the DOT token. So, all right, guys. Now that now we're going to talk about staking for a few minutes. And under the hood, Polkadot has a very powerful consensus mechanism that guarantees security. And to keep mechanism running, the community plays a crucial role through the act of the DOT token staking. In fact, every transaction passing through the DOT relay chain needs to be validated, and DOT token holders who do the validating are called, you guessed it, validators. So, as a validator, you stake your DOT tokens on the network to do the job of confirming transactions. Basically, you're saying that transactions on your watch are all true, and are putting up your stake as a guarantee. Now, nobody wants to lose their DOT stake by being dishonest and validating false transactions, which is the mechanism by which the process guarantees trust. So all in all, guys, in return for staking, you earn up to like 12% APY. Could be more, could be less, whatever, 12%. So now this brings us to our last key concept, which would be governance. So overall, guys, at the end of the day, it's users who are in control of the Polkadot network. Unlike centralized tech corporations such as Apple and Microsoft who operate in the service of their shareholders, Polkadot users directly make decisions about the network. Now, to make those decisions, users must hold DOT tokens, and in addition, in a move similar to bonding and staking, users voting on community referendum do so by locking their DOT tokens with their vote. And locking your tokens in with your vote signals your seriousness about the vote and keeps community members from selling their votes. I mean, does this make sense? Now, you might be tempted to say that Polkadot governance can favor big shareholders over smaller DOT wallets, but thankfully, that's not the case. And the reason why is simply because of a unique mechanism called time locking. Now, with time locking, users with a small amount of DOT tokens can leverage a large stake in the governance mechanism simply by locking their DOT into referendum votes for longer periods of time. In this way, community members invest their opportunity cost into their vote, thereby keeping small holders in play and mitigating centralization. So, alright guys, now if some of you are, still with me and still watching, I promise I'll be done talking shop here soon. But before I wrap this video up, I'd like to talk a little bit more about Polkadot real quick. So guys, amongst the many exciting new projects are, several major blockchains occupying the current top crypto market cap spaces. I mean, we've got Ontology, which is a blockchain for decentralized identity services, is one of them. And although Polkadot can be harnessed for literally any blockchain application out there, the vast majority of these being built today are in the DeFi sector. But, I mean, why though? The answer would simply be because Polkadot offers the benefit of Ethereum 2.0 rather than in several years from now, which is pretty awesome. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much what I got for you. So let's see here. Some of my favorite Polkadot projects that I personally like that are out there. We've got Polkaswap, which is an interoperable DEX that's pretty much Polkadot's answer to Uniswap. And then up next, we've got the Kusama Network, which is a blockchain platform that's been dubbed as Polkadot's wild cousin. And then we've got Polkastarter, which is a DEX for cross-chain token pools. I don't know if you guys have heard of any of these or not, but they're just some great projects that are, built with Polkadot. So, all right, guys, I know we've talked about a lot here, but, that's about all I've got for you guys today on why I'm so bullish on Polkadot. I mean, as you can tell, I talked about a lot. You can tell that I'm pretty interested in this Polkadot project, and I just absolutely love it. So, that's pretty much why I'm so bullish on this project. I know that was a lot to take in, but if you held on to the end with me, I really greatly appreciate it, and you're a true subscriber. So, and I truly hope you gained some more information and more knowledge about Polkadot as well. So, all right, guys. Now I guess it's time for me to go ahead and wrap things up. But before you leave, let me know your thoughts about the video in the comment section below, and go ahead and take a minute to subscribe to my channel so that you guys can join me in learning about different crypto projects with me, and you'll never miss an altcoin video from me. And with that said, you guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the comment section of my future videos.